1955. I think it was March. And we were living in Aden, which is now called Aden in Yemen, southern Yemen. It used to be called Aden, Arabia. We were leaving. My father had got a different job elsewhere. So we were all packing up and moving away. I was almost 9. And we were not very well off. My dad had a limited salary, and my dad, my mom, myself, and my 3-month-old sister. That was the family. And then we had our grandparents in India. Anyway, I was with my father and mother when we went shopping, the last minute shopping for taking things to India. And I still remember it was a corner shop. And so it had a large frontage. And right on the counter, there was a net and a big white ball, beautiful ball. And as a 9-year-old, naturally, I was very, very interested in that ball. So I asked the shopkeeper, I said, can I please look at it? So he said, of course. And he took it out and gave it to me. And I just looked at it and, I was fascinated by the size and the white color. And it's a beautiful ball. I think it was a net ball. And then I looked questioningly at my father, and he realized what I was thinking, and he said, sorry, we can't afford anything right now. We just have to buy the minimum things to take to India, and that's about it. So I said, oh, okay. I was too old to cry or throw a tantrum. I just said, okay, and gave the ball back to him, to the shopkeeper. Fine. We did get a few things which we needed to take, and we started walking. Went to another place, which was a few shops away, and my mother had to buy something from there. And then while we were coming back and passing, we had walking, we didn't have a vehicle, of course. While we were walking back, we passed through the same shop again. And the shopkeeper said, hello, hey, Sahib, come here. So my father, of course, went there, and I stopped, and my mother stopped, and with the baby. And we all wondered what happened. So he said, hold on. And then he gave me that ball, gave it to my father and said, this is for your son. My father said, I don't want it. I didn't pay for it. He said, no, it's a gift. So my father said, gift? Why? He said, no, it's not from me. Remember that man standing there when you were shopping? Even I remembered that. It's a white man, obviously a sailor. He had, tattoos. I still remember tattoo, typical stereotype sailor. And he had a T-shirt with stripes. And he had red hair, I still remember that. And freckles on his face and a big, meaty face, tall guy. I remember, you're always fascinated when you see somebody different. I'd always seen Indians and Arabs and Indians, and very few whites. So naturally, I was kind of attracted. So I had noticed him too. He said, that man must have heard the conversation between you and your son, or he must have understood. So after you left, he came over and said, how much is the ball? And he paid for it and said that give it to them. And I know you were a headmaster of this school, so I would have ultimately, brought it to your house this evening. But since you passed through here, I'm giving it to you. My father said, well, didn't you tell no to him? The shopkeeper said, well, I wouldn't tell him no, because he wanted to give it, and I could sell my ball, which made sense. So I got my ball, and my father, I didn't know this, but he told me many, many years later, my father made a special trip to the harbor. Aden was a port. He went there, and just from the description of the sailor, he found him. Really. And there was kind of a dormitory, and he was staying there. They were there for a couple of days while the cargo ship was being loaded. And my father said, thank you very much. You didn't have to do this. He said, no. He said, I have gone through that when I was a child. My dad was poor, or he couldn't afford to buy me so many things. And I could appreciate your son's pain. So this was my gift to him. Everybody, my father he didn't have to say anything. I mean, he just couldn't say anything. He said, well, okay, thanks a lot. Yeah. Can I buy you a drink or something? He said, nah, don't worry about it. We're good. So I got my ball. And that ball stayed with me for many years, till 1960. So that's 5 years. And then I don't know what happened to it. I think I gave it away to somebody, or it got lost or something like that. But isn't that beautiful? A total stranger just, he just decides to be kind to a little boy. Wonderful. It teaches you a lot of things, like, you don't need to be kind only to your kinfolks or your family or your near and dear ones. You can be kind and generous to anybody. I have tried to remember that.